While the country waits to see what Gareth Southgate will decide over his England future, the candidates to potentially replace him are starting to emerge.
Yes, we understand Graham Potter, Mauricio Pochettino, Eddie Howe and Lee Carsley are all on the shortlist should Southgate decide to stand down following the Euros.
Well, Southgate said it wasn't the right time to make a decision following defeat to Spain on Sunday, with his contract expiring in December. FA Chief Executive Mark Bullingham said before the tournament that a comprehensive succession plan is in place, but no talks have been held with potential replacements.
OK, let's take a look at the candidates then, starting with Newcastle boss Eddie Howe, who's been linked to the job in the past.
Yeah, this one would potentially prove to be the most difficult situation given that he's already in a job, meaning compensation would likely need to be paid to Newcastle.
Howe signed a long-term contract with the club in 2022, but it is not clear how long the deal is. It's thought he would also need to take a pay cut to take on the England role. In 2022, he was asked whether he'd be interested in becoming England manager if the position was available.
I think Gareth's done an incredible job, I really do, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I've been lucky enough to go in and see him work and spend time with him. I've got a lot of time for him and for Steve Holland and his team there. I think they've been amazing for England, and I think you have to remember where England was when he took over and what he's done for the country. I'd never say never, I never say no. It's not something that I'd ever be interested in, but certainly not in the short term. It's not on my radar at all. It's all Newcastle and investing in trying to make this team the best I can.
Yeah, you might be a bit young for it at the minute.
Well, I've always said I love the day-to-day coaching. I love being with my players on the training ground.
Well, another option is Graham Potter, who, like Howe, is highly thought of with FA bosses. He's been out of work since being sacked by Chelsea more than a year ago and has turned down offers both in England and abroad.
Well, what about an appointment following a similar pathway to Gareth Southgate?
Yeah, under-21s boss Lee Carsley is thought to be under consideration too, with the FA keen to include managers that come through the ranks at St George's Park in their process.
Carsley was appointed England under-20 boss in 2020 before moving up to the under-21s in 2021. Last summer, he guided the team to their first European Championship title since 1984. And that team included the likes of Cole Palmer and Anthony Gordon, who of course went on to feature for the senior team this summer. Also involved were James Trafford and Curtis Jones, who were part of England's initial 33-man squad for the Euros, while Jared Branthwaite was on the bench. But his lack of managerial experience at senior level may be a factor. Carsley was caretaker boss at Coventry and Birmingham, while also having a short interim spell at Brentford. Overall, he's managed just 24 senior games and all in the EFL.
Now, it's understood that an English coach would be the preference of Chief Executive Mark Bullingham and the FA's technical director, John McDermott. But could they be swayed in that decision?
Well, Mauricio Pochettino is an option to become England's third overseas appointment, following Sven-Göran Eriksson and Fabio Capello.
Well, Pochettino worked with McDermott at Tottenham and is available after leaving Chelsea back in May. The former Argentina international has also made it clear in the past that he would want the England job. In 2017, he said, "If I were to be an international manager one day, I would relish the opportunity to coach the England national team. I've heard that I've been considered for the job before, but I don't know if there was any truth in it."
David Ornstein and Charlotte Dunker explained on Back Pages tonight that although the FA's preference is for an Englishman, the possibility of appointing an overseas manager cannot be ruled out.
When you look at the likes of Eddie Howe and Graham Potter, they're two really strong candidates. I'll also throw in somebody like Lee Carsley, who's done well with the under-21s. And if Spain are anything to go by, they've shown with De La Fuente that promoting from within is perhaps a sensible way to go, because nobody will know the players that England are going to be using for the next 6, 7, 8 years better than Lee Carsley and, to be fair, Gareth Southgate. And so if you do appoint from outside, you're going to have to acclimatise to the FA, the England DNA, St George's Park, in a very short space of time. We're under 2 years until the 2026 World Cup, and the players seem to be very supportive of Gareth Southgate, at least publicly. if you're looking outside to the likes of a Klopp and a Tuchel, will a German be accepted by the English fans and the people? I don't know. They're both fantastic coaches in their own right, and I think would do a brilliant job. Similar Maurizio Pochettino as an Argentine, it puts a different perspective here. They've all got the character to do it, and you would like to think the communication too. But I think the FA would, in an ideal world, like to stick with an English manager.
Whoever comes in, they're going to be expected with that squad to go and win the World Cup. Now, they've got to adapt to that team. They've got to bring in new tactics. Everyone's crying out for them to play more exciting, dynamic, attacking football. So if you look at those three names there, if you look at Eddie Howe, for example, he's at Newcastle, is doing really well there. Is he going to want to leave an established job where he's building under a project there to go somewhere where if you don't win, you're automatically a failure? It's going to be a big test for him if he wants to do that. Obviously, we know that Graham Potter is out of work, and Thomas Tuchel is an option as well, because the FA aren't just interested in looking at English candidates. So it's going to be interesting to see how the next few months plays out.